On March 5th, 2012, a high-production video titled Kony 2012 was uploaded onto the Invisible Children's YouTube channel. Its main goal? Make the African warlord Joseph Kony famous. And had it not been for that video, it's likely many of us would be unaware of Kony's existence today. The video garnered approximately 50 million views in the first week, which at the time made it the most viral video to date. But who is Joseph Kony? And the LRA? Why are they feared? And how have they had an impact on us today? Well, let's find out.
During the 1970s and 80s in northern Uganda, LAKEY communities suffered from serious abuse from several leaders of Uganda. The abuse was so prevalent that when an LAKEY man said that he wanted to overthrow the government, the people showed huge amount of support towards him and his group. They were Joseph Kony and his Lord's Resistance Army, also known as LRA. Kony wanted to overthrow President Yoweri Museveni and replace it with a state run by him with a heavy following of his interpretations of the Ten Commandments. Support towards Kony and his group started to wane as the LRA started to become more violent towards civilians rather than the government. So if Kony and the LRA wanted to overthrow a harsh ruler, that means the people who are in the LRA are rebels who want to see Kony's state become a reality? Wrong. Although it might have been true at the start, today most of the people are forced to stay with Kony either by internal force or the idea that they will be put in worse conditions if they are found and tried. In fact, it is highly plausible that the only reason the LRA still exists is to protect Kony and the other people in the inner circle from being found. Even with this said, many top leaders in the LRA have defected and the number of fighters has dwindled from 10,000 to 100 to 200. The LRA uses violence to intimidate opponents and civilians. They trade elephant ivory, gold and diamonds. The sad fact is, to do all this work, the LRA abducts children from their homes and villages.
Could you give us a short version of the story of you getting abducted as a child?
When in 1988, when the war broke, and I was 11 years old, so in this same very village, we were playing soccer in the evening, and we saw the rebels coming, and they stopped us. They said stop. And then later on they started selecting us. If you're older, you go that side. When you're younger, you go this side. So eventually, I was among the 15 who were taken away, and we were all forced. We walked 100 kilometers in 3 nights, and we spent 3 months in the bush. After that, the government plane came to fight the rebels, and when we escaped, they mistaking us to be the rebels, the plane, the jet fight. So 9 of my friends were shot and they were dead. Then 6 of us made it back home.
The LRA would like to think of their cause as justifiable and good for their country, but they have never been in good light since the enslaving children is a main happening and their violent actions against people. They only exist nowadays to protect Kony and his inner circle. They are probably one of the most known terrorist organizations.
Who are Invisible Children? Well, they're an American-based charity founded by Jason Russell, Larry Poole, and Bobby Bailey, and were founded on the basis of stopping the LRA and Kony and bringing aid to the families and children affected by them. All of this conspired after the 3 up-and-coming filmmakers found themselves in Uganda in look of a story in early 2003. While travelling through the country, they discovered the immigration of children coming from rural towns into the city, a daily event used to keep the children safe and away from Kony. Shocked by what they saw, the 3 spent the next decade advocating for change in Uganda. They tried a series of campaigns and videos in an attempt to shine a light on Kony, including this gem.
We gotta do something, you guys. What can we do to bring him back?
They respond to like spectacle, something huge, big, flashy. That's what we need to do.
Let's bring it.
Okay, you know.
Then let's give them what they want. Let's do what we always do.
Dance!
mission, put Uganda deep inside your mind. It needs attention and a dance to make it sparkle and shine.
However, nothing gained critical attention. However, all that changed when in March of 2012, this video was uploaded to YouTube. The Kony 2012 video was a major success for the company and for Jason Russell. Jason played a massive part in the success of the video and became the face of Invisible Children for the years to come. Within a few days, the company had achieved their goal of making Kony a household name. And they weren't stopping there. The campaign grew to include rallies, which were to be held on April 20th across the world. The plan was to cover the streets in Kony's name, with posters, signs, shirts, and more. Now, while this is going on, Jason Russell was beginning to face criticism from the media and other organizations over the legitimacy of the charity, as speculation of the donations began to spread. Apparently, Invisible Children were taking 70% of the earnings and putting it towards production, upkeep, and paychecks, and the other 30% would get passed on to Uganda for who knows what. People were still confused for what the organization were actually going to do to stop Kony. And then, only a few days before the April 20th event, Jason snapped.
Oh no. What? Oh no. Right back there. Oh Jesus.
So, where are Invisible Children now? Well, they've mostly ceased operations. The April 20th protests didn't exactly have a great turnout. And Russell? Well, he's since recovered from his breakdowns and is no longer associated with Invisible Children. However, it's hard to deny that if it wasn't for Russell and his team, we still wouldn't know about Kony to this day. The LRA would like to think of their cause as justifiable and for the good of their country, but they've never been in a good light. The enslaving children and violence against their own people has brought them under scrutiny by the whole country and the world. They only exist nowadays to protect Kony and his inner circle, and they are probably one of the most known terrorist organizations.
We're on a mission, put Uganda deep inside your mind. It needs attention and a dance to make it sparkle and shine. Very